Welcome back to Age of Coronavirus Gaming with the Stars. I'm your host, Chase Kurtz, and today we're talking with Shawn. Shawn is a Genshin Impact streamer. He does certain guides to make you a better player, and he's also a verified Genshin Impact creator, which I want to get to. He's pushing 30K followers on Twitch and 166K followers on TikTok. Please welcome to the show, Shawn. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing just fine. So let's talk about these glasses, man, because these are, I love that tint. I love that. What is it? Is it a yellow tint?
Yeah, so it's a light yellow tint. They're from Gunner Optics. I've been sponsored by them since April. I've been wearing them probably for about three and a half years now. I got my first pair while working in higher education, back when I was working towards my degree. I'm in my master's program. I was sitting at a computer 7 to 8 hours a day, in addition to gaming then at night, and my eyes were just hurting. I was in pain, and looked at Amazon. They were for $30. So I looked at Gunner. They were $45, and I was like, "This is a well-known company. I'll spend the extra $15." That first pair lasted me 2 years, probably until about 3 months before my sponsorship, when I got a new pair.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I also too wear glasses, but only at night. So I really like the contacts. But I need to get me a new pair of glasses because they kind of keep slipping off my nose. They were not well adjusted like I thought they would be.
No, I definitely feel that. I feel like a lot of times with glasses, my partner, he wears glasses, and consistently he's always buying new pairs to try out different looks, in addition to just making sure that they frame his face really well.
Exactly. Yeah, you just gotta make sure that they're doing those adjustments correctly. Shawn, tell us, what is it to be a Genshin Impact verified creator?
Sure. So Genshin Impact has been a game that's been out since September of 2020. I started playing it in about October. My partner and I were looking for a game to play together, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to stream on Twitch. Everyone else was streaming Genshin on Twitch, so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. It looks like a game that I'm really interested in. I play a lot of MMORPGs in the past. I was a big World of Warcraft fan. So playing it, first month, I jumped right in, and they had a creator program where you got free Primal Gems, which is the currency in Genshin Impact that you use for wishing, getting new characters, getting new weapons. And I was like, ooh, some free Primal Gems. They'll sponsor my stream with this monthly gift that they'll be giving me, in addition to being able to talk directly with Genshin and their staff, and just working with MiHoYo. I applied. You needed 100 average viewers. I had 50 at the time. I emailed them and said, hey, I don't think you folks realize like who your content creators are who are playing your game. A lot of people who are streaming your game don't have 100 viewers. A lot of them have around 45 to 65. I have 50, and I have a growing TikTok community. I'd love to be a verified creator, and I think I'd be a good fit, and I kind of sold them on it. And they messaged me back and said, hey, we'd love to have you apply, even though you don't meet the 100-person average for average viewership for that month. And I got in November, which is super exciting, and I've been sponsored with them ever since. I was able to do some media testing due to that sponsorship, and just being in contact with them a whole lot. And then we're currently doing a new sponsor campaign where people can come into my stream or anyone else's stream who's currently with the Paimon extension, which will allow that person to get 60 Primal Gems. So it's a really cool experience. It's been great. They've since lowered that 100-person down to 25 because they're trying to have more and more people play their game and be spoiler free.
Well, it sounds like you had actually a great impact.
Truly, I think it's been really great. My community on TikTok has actively grown. I get around 6 million views a month over on TikTok. People actively know who I am there. And a lot of on Twitch, people will see my face and they go, wait, I know you from somewhere. Where do I know you from? And I'm like, do you follow me on TikTok? They're like, oh, I do. You're the code guy. And I'm like, I'm more than just the code guy. I actually do all these other cool things and like help people out and get you to understand the game a little bit more. But a lot of times people just know me as the code person because I'll post the codes as soon as they come out and people can get more of those free Primal Gems.
What are the main, maybe like top 5 or top 3 mistakes that people make when they're first starting out with Genshin Impact?
The big thing is Genshin can be a little overwhelming, unfortunately. The game has a lot of really intricate parts. And I think the biggest mistake someone can make is just not exploring. not taking your time to just sit in the world of that and just enjoy it. Go through the storyline, learn about the characters, learn about the combat, do the little missions that they send you on when you first start the game. I think that's really the biggest mistake people do, is that. And then secondly, I think that people are really ashamed sometimes to ask for help. That's something that's really hard for all of us to do in many aspects of our life. And I think just asking someone who's a higher level player than you are for help, a lot of times they're going to be really kind. The Genshin community, for the most part, has been really, really kind to me and many other creators and players worldwide. And if you just ask, someone might be able to give you a tip, or they might suggest someone else, or they might just say, sorry, noob, which is unfortunate, but those people will always be in every community. The last tip I would say is probably just to watch content, watch other people play the game who play the same characters you enjoy. I personally really enjoy Klee. She's a character that came out back in October, and other people who come to my stream will be like, oh, you're a Klee main, me too. I can't get her to do that damage. How did you do that? And asking those questions and being able to watch creators who play the same characters as you is going to be a great way to understand how to play that character better.
How long ago was this that you started picking up Genshin Impact?
So Genshin came out in September of last year of 2020, and I started playing in October. So about a month after it came out.
Overseas, it's been a lot more popular, hasn't it?
Yeah, I would say it's very, really popular in China. China is where the game comes from. That's where the company MiHoYo originated. So it's really, really popular there. You can look up, if you want some fun homework to look up, there's the KFC event that happened in China, where Genshin Impact players may have started a mini coronavirus outbreak over there in China due to the sponsorship, which got completely cut due to that. People were just flocking to KFC to get the free item. So it was a really big issue. So I'd say it's really, really big over in China.
What other games do you like to play, Shawn? Or do you have time?
No, yeah, completely off stream. I really enjoy Dead by Daylight. It's been a game that I've played probably, I'm at almost 800 hours now in game. I played that on stream. It was one of my main stream games for a long time until Genshin came out. But I really kind of got too competitive when playing it, so I really enjoy playing it off stream with my community in Discord, or playing it with my partner Kevin. Him and I will play it from two different rooms in our apartment together. We'll both be playing Dead by Daylight. I also really enjoy Subnautica and other adventure games. I love the horror genre. I think it's a great aspect. I never realized how easily I get scared playing games like Outlast or Resident Evil. But I just really enjoy adventuring in a world and exploring. Kingdom Hearts is probably one of my all-time favorite game companies. All of those games I've played. In addition to, I've played Magic the Gathering since I was 10 years old. So I've been playing that for a very, very long time.
Well, what is it about the horror games that scare you? Do you have the same effect when you're watching movies, or?
Not really. So movies, not really. I think it's the immersion.
Yeah.
It's really getting immersed into the game and having to run away from a killer, or having to find the answer to the puzzle, the ticking timer, the jump scare on the screen. But like watching movies, I really don't get it, because I guess I anticipate what's to come. Where I think games may do that a little better, where you may be able to anticipate it, but you don't know when it's going to come. And the timing in movies is a little bit, they choose the pace of the movie, chooses the timing of when the scare is going to happen. Where with you playing the game, it has a pace, but you don't know that pace, and you don't get told that pace ever.
Sure.
So it kind of just like happens out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's more reality based. You're around making your own choices, which you can't do on movies.
Yeah, I highly suggest Outlast. It's a fantastic game. I think it came out in 2009 or 2013. It's an older game, still very, very, very scary. I can probably play it today and still be scared, and I played it 3 times through.
You know, we've had COVID pass through. We're still dealing with some issues. How did you handle the time off with your gameplay?
Sure. So I would say the biggest thing with COVID for me, COVID kickstarted my career in content creation. So I was full-time in higher education. I have my master's in higher ed. I was working for a university here in Connecticut. In June of last year, I was let go from working in higher education due to just the uncertainty of what was going to happen with COVID. They weren't sure how many students were going to come back to the university in the fall, and they didn't want another hall director where they were going to pay and not have a students to watch over.
Right.
So unfortunately, I did lose my job last June. During that same time period, while collecting unemployment, I was able to stream full time. My community really actively supported me, and I've been being able to pay all of my bills since last June, which I'm really, really, really fortunate for, and really lucky to have that as an opportunity and have a community who actively supports me in doing that. There have been low times over the past year and a half where bills are a little harder that month, but my savings has been able to pay for those things and making sure that I'm able to continually create content. And I would say with Genshin and with my community over on TikTok, it's made it a little bit easier to create partnerships, to have connections like this one where people are noticing me and my content a little bit more. And then especially with Genshin, the sponsorship and just doing more events with them, I've been able to grow a huge following over on Twitch, where I originally last year had a 30, 40, 50 average viewers. And now I'm sitting at anywhere between 300 and 1,000.
It's amazing how fast that happened.
Yeah, really. Like April, I was sitting. Sorry, March, I was sitting at 75. April, I was sitting at 115. May was 150. June was like 175. July was 300, and it's only up from here. So it's super exciting, and I can't wait to see what's in store for August and September and the rest of 2021.
Now you were let go from your teaching abilities. Now that must have been a pretty scary time for you.
Yeah, I would say last year was really, really scary. It was really hard to just like leave the career path that I was planning to do. Streaming has always been a passion of mine. It was something that I wanted to do since I was 16 years old. I've always wanted to create content. I thought about going to Full Sail University in Florida, but I ended up not going. It was too expensive for my family at the time. So I stayed local, went to a state college, got my undergraduate degree in psychology research, in neuroscience and social psychology, with a minor in math and geography. Smart person. I've really worked my butt off to making sure my degree kind of fit the bill. And then unfortunately, it was just kind of, I lost the job. Didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where I was going to go. I found an apartment close by to the university that was in my price range at the time. And truly, I would say without the pandemic assistance that I got from the state of Connecticut, I probably wouldn't have been able to pay my bills.
Right.
It would have been very, very, very difficult.
But it was nice that you had that in your back pocket. It really is important to have all these many different interests, so that if something were to happen, you can just kind of pick up where you left off, and you can get into something else.
No, exactly.
That said, the pandemic was it did limit your options.
It really truly did. It made it really, really difficult. No higher ed institutions have been hiring, and they're still not really even hiring now. People say that they are, but it's one job. They're hiring one job or two jobs. And if you don't fit the bill of that one or two jobs, you're not getting hired at the institutions here in Connecticut. I could move to another state, but that would unfortunately leave my partner behind. So I'd rather stay here with him and enjoy our time together and continue to build a life here. And content creation and streaming on Twitch has allowed me to be able to do that. And if it wasn't really for the pandemic, I don't think it would have ever really happened.
Now, I'm wondering why they're not hiring. Do you know?
I think it might be just trying to cut costs.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times with my master's degree and understanding higher ed, it's making sure that they're able to stay afloat with less and less students coming back to school, or more students potentially moving online. They don't know what their enrollment's going to be like. So traditionally, employment at institutions is based on enrollment. So if enrollment is high, they'll sometimes hire new employees. If enrollment is low, they'll see about cutting employees back. So with enrollment being really, really low, they are trying to be as close to bare bones as possible to make sure that they can still make money every single year and don't have to go into their university savings.
Well, do they have like an online class program?
For some institutions in Connecticut, they do have a really growing online platform, but for most of them, they're mostly in person. So I know besides the pandemic pushing a lot of classes online, there really aren't many online degrees here for Connecticut. I could apply and work for institutions who teach online, but a lot of my teaching background is in psychology, and that's really not a big field that they have a lot of online things for. And unfortunately, a lot of the roles that I would work either in queer services or working in residential services at an institution is all in person. So not being there in person makes it really difficult for me to have a role in higher education.
Well, they probably just haven't figured it out on how they can even implement that in a practical way for themselves.
Yeah, higher education is a really difficult and really ever changing. It was very, very standard for so long. You came into class, everything was good, and now with the evolution of technology, higher education has really actively been changing. So it makes it really difficult for these institutions who are trying to grow but don't know what positions they need, and they're kind of at that middle ground of like, okay, we need to grow to reach more students, but we also need to do we also need to do these online classes, but we don't have the educators to do these online classes. So it's this mixed ground. They're trying to do all these multiple things at the same time, and it's unfortunately for a lot of institutions, they're finding it really difficult.
Right. Yeah. It is very challenging. So you spend a lot of time at your computer, working really hard, but you got to have other hobbies going on for yourself. What have you been doing outside of the work?
Sure. So outside of video games and content creation, some of my favorite things to do, I have plants. So I love birds of paradise. It's my favorite flower. So I have two of those plants in my apartment. I enjoy traveling. Wasn't able to really do that from the pandemic, but traditionally, every single June when my birthday is on June 22nd, I'll visit somewhere new for Pride season for that June. So every year I'll either go over to Europe, I'll go up to Canada. I have some friends who live in both of those locations. I try and visit Iceland once a year.
Oh, wow.
Since I have some friends who live over in Reykjavik.
Yeah. I bet that's a beautiful place in Iceland.
Iceland is absolutely stunning. If you have the opportunity to go to Iceland, if you have the opportunity to do the full ring road, which is the entire circle all around Iceland, I highly suggest it. Seyðisfjörður, who's on the East Fjords on the far side, has beautiful views, and it's really, really, really quiet. They have a low population over there. It's really nice if you're just trying to escape and just trying to hike and just be outdoors and really just take time to yourself.
There's not that many people in Iceland comparatively. It's a little bit spread out. Is that right?
I would say in the main cities there is. The main cities are really densely populated, but I would say in kind of the outskirt towns they're not as densely populated.
What do you like? Do you like to do the cities or the outskirts?
So traditionally I'll stay in Reykjavik just because I have a friend who lives there, so it makes it really, really cheap. She's been living there for about 6 or 7 years now.
Right.
So it makes it really affordable for me to sleep on her couch instead of paying $400 a night for a hotel.
Exactly. It's nice to have some connections. Yeah. Well, you brought up the plants thing. I'll tell you what. When the pandemic lockdowns started, for me, I had just moved into Astoria, and I had all this. Well, I didn't have a lot, but I had a patch of land that I could do something in. It was just nothing but dirt and rock. I pulled out all that rock and I started planting grass and planting all kinds of flowers and bushes and now vegetables. And I'll tell you what, like having something to care for has been a very transformative thing for me. Instead of it being like a chore,
really different.
Just having some, and it really teaches you patience.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your experience?
I would say with my birds of paradise, it takes like 20 years for them to flower and bloom in Connecticut, just due to the way that it's set up, and they may actually never bloom. So it may just be a green flower its entire life.
Wow.
It may not ever flower. Yeah, so it's really about patience and just watching the greens grow. I'd love to move down to Florida or down to a new area to have a nice warmer climate to have them flower all the time.
Yeah.
But it's been really great. My partner's a florist, so he'll bring home these beautiful, fully flowered birds of paradise home sometimes.
So wait, you keep them inside, and you have like an environment that you keep them warm?
I don't think it's really possible. It might be. I'd really have to probably invent probably entire room to make sure that all the heat conditions and light conditions are all the same. They're a big flower. They have a really large base.
Right.
So I'd really need to make sure that I probably dedicated like a 9 foot by 9 foot room to just the plant itself if I want to try and actively try to have them flower inside.
Yeah, an active greenhouse for certain.
An active greenhouse inside my apartment.
It's a little difficult, a little challenging. I had this like plant kick for a moment. And I was like, wait a minute, why don't I get a chocolate tree or something? And so I started researching.
Oh yeah, trying something a little bit more difficult.
I was like, I love chocolate. Why hasn't anybody done this? I got to get me a chocolate tree. So I started researching, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, this is going to be incredibly difficult because they require a really warm environment. I'm like, I can't do this. Not in New York.
They want very, very, very specific temperament that they have to live in. Otherwise, it's just unfortunately not going to work.
Yeah, and then you have to figure out how to make chocolate, and that's a whole other process. So I was like, I think I'll just leave the chocolate to the chocolatiers.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Are you going to continue to do this streaming?
I have no reason to stop. It's one of my favorite things. I really, really enjoy being actively and publicly queer on the internet.
Yeah.
And having people feel safe coming into my stream. It's been something that I've always done my entire life, is spread awareness and education around queer issues and queer topics, as well as sex and sex education. So that's always been something I've always done. I'm a published researcher in bisexuality education, so that's always just been something that I've loved. And if I can continue to do that on the internet and get paid for it, I'll play in some of my favorite games. Well, it's all worth it for me then.
It's all about what you want to do, and you do it, you love it, and makes you happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Shawn, thank you, brother.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.